If you're a highly sensitive person, you probably know that little decisions can cause a big overwhelm. Seems like a small thing, just deciding on what to eat or just deciding on even what to wear, or some small decision that should be nothing can sometimes lead to just a paralysis as you start seeing all the options and all the nuances that are involved. So, why is it that little decisions overwhelm highly sensitive people? One of the reasons is that we highly sensitive people tend to process information deeply. We look at all of the potential outcomes, the benefits, the risks. We consider all of the people involved, all of the repercussions, and this is a lot of information. So it seems like you're just deciding one small thing, but in reality, there are many factors involved, and that's one of the things that can make it overwhelming. Another thing is if you're trying to make a decision in, for example, a crowded place with, like in a store or something like that, with loud music and lights and people going by and somebody pressuring you for time and everything, that can just be too much very quickly. There's also the factor that HSPs tend to be sensitive to not wanting to do things, wrong, not wanting to make the wrong choice, not wanting to disappoint somebody, not wanting to have any kind of negativity come out. And so it may make it hard to make a decision because of that worry. Picking a birthday card could end up being like, okay, is that the right one? Is that to the right sentiment? Are they going to like it? Are they not going to like it? And suddenly you can spend a lot of time in front of the card shelf. Another thing is, and that's kind of similar, is just emotional considerations, how empathetic we are and how highly attuned we are to others' emotions, and how easy it is to get into other people's business and wanting them to feel good, really to protect ourselves because we don't think we can handle the negativity that they may express or the disappointment or the criticism. So this adds another layer of things to consider when you're a highly sensitive person making a simple, small decision. We also really value being in alignment with ourselves. So we want our choices to have meaning, and we want it to align with our values, our beliefs, and even small things. I know when I was deciding on, a logo or a name like that for my business, it was like, oh my gosh, it's got to really line up. And that took a lot of thought power. So there are many factors in there. I'm sure there are many more as well. But as you can see, it's not just, oh, is it a yes or a no? It's not just, do I want this kind of cereal or that kind of cereal? It's what is involved in, if I get this cereal, what are the repercussions? What is going to happen? And this is natural. We do these we think this way, and it's a good thing. We can actually perceive things in advance. We can avoid problems in advance. We're kind of playing chess sometimes, and chess is not a bad thing. You can have fun playing chess, but it can become stressful as well. And that's what we're wanting to look at here. So the question is, how can you minimize this kind of overwhelm when you're faced with it in a regular way? One of the ways you can help yourself is to do a little bit of planning. And for me, this means separating the deep thinking part, which is looking at all those repercussions, from the actual action taking part. So the decision making, the deep thinking, that's something I need to sit with sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks, sometimes for even longer, as I'm sort of sorting through and feeling through what feels right to me, what's the right direction I want to go in. And if I'm doing that, if I'm trying to do that process on the fly when I have a lot of pressure and a lot of distraction, it's much harder. So that's one thing that works for me, is to just separate those whenever possible. And that means that I'm really thinking about planning things a little bit more. So for example, if I'm planning what I'm going to get at the grocery store, I do that kind of planning at home first. I make a list, I think about it. Over the week, I might be adding things here and there. And I, over time, learned that certain things don't work for me, certain things do work for me. And so I've kind of honed the system down. And so the system takes care of it, and I just tweak the system. And that feels like it gives me a little bit more space and it prevents me from getting overwhelmed. I really don't have to do a lot of decision making at the store. Um, Another thing that can help with this, another kind of specialized version of planning, is routines. Routines are a pre-planned time period that is dedicated to doing a certain thing, and I don't have to think about it. So, for example, when I get up in the morning, I know what I'm going to do. First thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to drink some water. Then I'm going to turn my computer and my phone on, and I'll just peruse for a few minutes while I'm drinking my water. Then I'm going to go get some breakfast things ready, and I'm going to then do my Egoscue stretches. Then I'm going to take a shower, and after that, I will do a little bit of gratitude in my journal, and then I'm going to meditate, and then I will, after that, have breakfast. So this is a routine, and some days I alternate with my partner. I'll be walking the dog instead of doing breakfast. So there's a routine there that is like, I know when I get up, I don't have to think, oh, what am I going to do? Is this more important than that? None of that decision making is happening because I've set it up as a routine. And I set up other things in my life as routines as well. Getting to bed, doing what I do before going to bed, a little stretching, doing some reading, the time of day for eating lunch, the time of day for meditating in the afternoon, and all these things, these routines can cut down on the decision making that I have to make. Even within my work, like there's certain routines that I have, and I will tweak those routines, create new routines, but the things that are working, I just let them work. And this is a real saver, like a mind saver for HSPs, at least in my experience. When you have something that works and you love it, and it's something that you want to do regularly, it first of all blocks off time for your priorities. And then second of all, you don't have to think about how you're going to do it or when you're going to do it. You just jump in, oh, time has come, and you start doing it. So this can cut down on decision fatigue by automating certain things. And there's certain things like you may not need to think about every day. Like maybe you kind of know what you want to wear. You can just set it up and go through for the whole week, or what you're going to eat. You may just have that worked out. Maybe once a week you sit and plan what your meals are. You can do this with many different things. You can do it with finance. You can do it with, budgeting, that kind of thing. You can do it with so many different aspects of life. Just having some kind of routine. Exercise is another one. Even social commitments. You could say, this is a day, I'm going to have certain days when I'm open for social commitments and other days when I'm not. And then you just know, okay, I only am open for business, so to speak, during these days. And it gives you a sense of ease. You know that you can kind of don't have to decide every time. And of course, you can change these routines and you can adjust them and you can make exceptions and things like that. But having a baseline can be really amazing. So, yeah, I think these are a few ideas in terms of how to actually design a situation that is supportive for you. You can plan outfits for the week. You can set a default breakfast. You can, create a standard shopping list, for example. You can prioritize your tasks, automate repetitive tasks. You can do all kinds of things to support yourself so that in the moment, you can just be living moment to moment and enjoying the freedom rather than constantly having to make a decision. Because here's the problem with HSPs. It's not a problem, but it can be, is that we like to do things really well. We like to optimize. And so if I'm making a decision every moment of my day, then I'm going to be trying to instinctively, I'm going to be trying to optimize that decision. And to optimize the decision, I have to think about many different things. And so that means minute to minute, I have to think many different things now. And then a next decision comes, I have to think about many different things then, and then, and then, and then. And you can end up getting exhausted really early. So I like to spend some time every day making deep decisions. And I like to spend a lot of time every day just enjoying the benefit of past decisions that I've already made and just focusing on living instead.